Look, everyone's reach is down. If you've been posting on LinkedIn and watching your impressions drop month after month, you are not imagining it. It's real and it's happening to everyone. And here's something that might mess with your head. I've generated more leads and closed more deals from posts hitting 5,000 impressions than I ever did when I was getting 100,000. It's not a humble brag. It's the whole point of this video, that the game changed, and most of the advice you hear comes from people who built their audiences in 2021 when LinkedIn was a complete ghost town. What worked for them won't work for you. And they're still teaching it anyways. 6 months ago, I posted this question to my feed: why do you think impressions are low for everyone? I got 86 comments, marketers, creators, engineers, all guessing. Some people said content supply is exploding, but demand is fixed. LinkedIn is shifting to pay to play, just like Facebook did. They're A/B testing new ranking factors. They want to create demand for paid ads. Everyone had theories, nobody had answers. Then, quietly, LinkedIn published a research paper, 9 pages buried on archive, written by their own engineers, and it explains everything: what they built, how it works, why your reach tanked, and most importantly, what actually works now. And this is the first video breaking it down, so let's get into it. First, you need to understand what LinkedIn used to be. For years, LinkedIn ran on what they called a feature factory. Think of it like a collection of separate systems, each doing one job. One system tracked trending topics, another tracked hashtags, another looked at who you're connected to, another measured early engagement velocity. All of these systems would vote on which content to show you. If your post hit certain triggers, like getting lots of comments in the first hour or using the right hashtags, it got pushed out to you. That's why the old advice worked. Post at a specific hour, get your engagement pod to comment immediately, like and comment your own posts. These were hacks that gamed the individual systems. But 3 things happened at once. First, the platform matured. More users, more content, more competition for the same feed space. Second, AI tools got really good. Everyone can pump out quality content now, and the supply exploded, which means it's harder than ever to stand out. And then third, LinkedIn rebuilt the entire algorithm, and this is the part nobody's talking about. They rebuilt the entire retrieval system from the ground up. One model, powered by an LLM, specifically Meta's LLaMA3, fine-tuned on LinkedIn's own engagement data. This isn't a small tweak. This is a complete architectural rebuild of how content gets distributed on the platform. And it changes everything about what works. Let me explain what's actually happening now when you post on LinkedIn. The new system is called GPURAR, Retrieval as Ranking, and it works completely differently than the old system. So here's a process. Step 1, your profile becomes a prompt. The system takes your entire profile and it converts it into text. Your name, headline, industry, skills, job history, certifications, languages, all of it becomes a text prompt that gets fed into the LLM. And this is wild when you think about it, because everything that used to be structured data in a database is now just text that the AI reads and interprets. Step 2, your activity history gets tracked. The system maintains a time-ordered sequence of every post you've engaged with, not just liked, engaged with, commented on, spent time reading, clicked through. This creates what I call your professional curiosity profile. The paper calls it your activity history sequence, but that's boring. And the point is, the AI learns what you are actually interested in based on your behavior, not what you say you are interested in. Step 3, posts get embedded. When someone creates a post, the system analyzes the content, the author's profile, the post type, and even early performance signals. All of this gets converted into a mathematical embedding, a point in a high-dimensional space that represents what this post is about. Step 4, semantic matching. And here's the key part. The system matches member embeddings to post embeddings based on semantic similarity. Not keywords, not hashtags, meaning. The AI is essentially asking, based on everything I know about the person's professional interests and behavior, would they find this post valuable? If the embeddings are close together in the mathematical space, you see the post. If they're not, you don't. And here's something else the system does now. it surfaces older content. LinkedIn used to be purely chronological with a recency bias. New post got pushed, old post died. Now the system matches content to interest regardless of when it was posted. I've seen posts from weeks ago from our clients and other people get a second wave of distribution because the algorithm found a new audience segment it matched. So this means evergreen content can matter more than ever. And it also means you're not just competing with what just was posted today, you're competing with everything that's ever been relevant to your audience. So what does this mean in practice? The system isn't looking for tricks anymore. It's looking for genuine relevance. It doesn't care if you posted at the optimal time. It cares if the content matches what the viewer is actually interested in. It doesn't care about your hashtags. I don't know if I ever did, honestly, but it understands what your post is about by reading it. It doesn't care about your engagement pod. It tracks whether people actually dwell on your content or scroll past. There's a quote from an AI architect who analyzed the paper: "Stop optimizing for tricks and timing. The system rewards content that people genuinely engage with and linger on. It encodes meaning, consistency, and connection because that's exactly what it was trained to find." And here is where it gets interesting for anyone who doesn't already have a massive following. LinkedIn ran A/B tests on this new system before rolling it out, and the results are buried in the paper. For members with sparser connection graphs, meaning people with fewer connections and followers, the new system produced a 3.29% increase in revenue metrics and a 1.17 increase in professional interactions. Listen to that again. That means smaller accounts saw better results with the new algorithm. Why? Because the old system was biased toward people who had already large networks. If you had tons of connections, more people saw your content by default. The rich got richer. And the new system doesn't work that way. It matches content to interest. If you create something genuinely valuable for a specific audience, it tries to find that audience, even if you don't have a big following. Shield Analytics published data from 50,000 posts in December 2025, and here's what they found. A top 10% post from someone with 5 to 10K followers gets about 5.5K impressions. A median post from someone with 25 to 50K followers gets about 2.4K impressions. That means a great post from a smaller account outperforms an average post from an account 5 times its size. Execution now matters more than audience size. And this is not to be motivational, it's literally what the data shows. So let's talk about what stopped working. One, engagement pods. The old system could be gamed easily by getting a bunch of people to comment immediately in the first hour. The new system tracks dwell time and genuine engagement patterns. It can tell the difference between someone who read your post and left a thoughtful comment versus someone who commented great post without reading anything. 2, timing optimization. The old advice was 8 a.m. EST, and that can still work because people are active, but the algorithm heavily weighted early engagement velocity. So that's why the advice was there. And the new system now embeds within 30 minutes and indexes new posts within 1 minute. It's matching content to interest continuously, not judging everything by what happens in the first hour. Hashtag stuffing. The system reads your content semantically. It understands what your post is about. Without hashtags, adding hashtag marketing, hashtag growth doesn't help you get discovered because the AI already knows what topics you're covering. Last, generic advice content gets buried. This is the big one. If you are posting the same 5 tips for productivity content that thousands of other people are posting, you are competing in an incredibly crowded embedding space. The system has no reason to show your version versus anyone else's. People were saying the engagement thresholds have risen and average content dies faster, and they were right. But it's not because LinkedIn arbitrarily decided to be harder. It's because the system is now sophisticated enough to understand quality and relevance at scale. Let me show you something that proves this point. A few months ago, we did something for a client that broke every LinkedIn rule that gurus preach. Blocky text, no spaces, huge sentences, no CTA, no formatting, the hook squished together, everything you're told to not do, We did. And the result, 85,000 impressions, 713 likes, 120 comments, 43 reposts. Why did it work? When I strategized the post, I knew it was going to perform, not because of the formatting, because of the context. And at that moment, major industry news had just broken. People were worried about their jobs, their brands, how they were going to adapt. And they didn't want to see someone acting all polished, LinkedIn perfect, calculated. They wanted something that felt real, raw, unpolished, informative, human. Did we keep writing posts this blocky and optimized for his profile? Of course not, because we wouldn't have a client anymore if the content kept failing. But that's exactly the point. The new algorithm doesn't reward following formatting rules. It rewards understanding your audience deeply enough to know what they need at a specific moment. Anyone can follow rules. Only humans can break them strategically. And only a human could have felt with gut instinct what was right for the industry at that moment. Only a human could have strategized content to go against all the rules and know it would resonate. That's what separates good content strategists from great ones. And it's what the new algorithm is designed to find. Now, let me get specific about what's working right now. First, LinkedIn SEO is real and most people ignore it. LinkedIn is now the second most cited source in AI overviews. This means your content can get discovered. Here's what you can optimize for. Your profile headline and about section need keywords your buyers are searching for and are interested in. You don't have to stuff them awkwardly, just write them naturally but strategically. Your post should also have these keywords, not industry jargon you use internally, the actual words people are interested and search for. LinkedIn newsletters rank on Google, treat them like blog posts, not just repurposed LinkedIn content. Name your carousel files with descriptive, keyword-rich titles before you upload them. The system reads that. Second, your hook is everything. You have 3 lines to convince someone to press see more. That's it. And most people waste those lines on setup. Nobody cares your setup. They're already gone. Your hook needs to do one of 3 things. Create curiosity, challenge a belief, or promise specific value. The best hooks usually aren't written first. That's why you write the post, you find the most interesting line, you move it to the top, and that's your hook. Third, your voice is your moat. When AI can generate decent content for anyone, the only thing that can't be replicated is you. Your hot takes, your strong opinions, your weird analogies, the way you explain things that's different from how everyone else explains them. And generic advice dies in the feed now. 5 tips for productivity is competing with 10,000 other posts saying the same thing. But something like, here's why everything you've been told about productivity is backwards and why I learned about burning out twice. Because that's yours. Nobody else can write that. Stop trying to sound professional. Start trying to sound like yourself. Fourth, authority content is more important than ever. It's not enough to share tips. You need to show why anyone should care about your tips. That means proof, results, stories, context, not here's how to write better hooks. Something like a hook framework that helped our client go from 2,000 to 85,000 impressions on a single post. Here's what we did. The system is encoding expertise based on how people engage with your content. Surface level posts get scrolled past. Deep expertise gets saved, shared, and commented on. And that's the engagement pattern that trains the algorithm to show your content to more people that value depth over fluff. So if the old playbook is dead, what's the new one? Authority content over growth hacks. System is encoding expertise. It's learning what topics you actually know about based on your content history and the engagement patterns on your post. If you post surface level content that gets scrolled past, the system learns that. If you post deep expertise that people dwell on and engage with meaningfully, the system learns that too. So stop trying to go viral. Start trying to be genuinely useful to a specific audience. Your profile matters more than ever. Your profile is now literally a prompt that gets fed into the AI. Your headline, your about section, your job history, everything. The system uses this to understand who you are and what kind of content you should be creating. So if your profile is generic, doesn't have keywords, your content is going to get matched to generic audiences. If your profile clearly signals your expertise and who you help, your content gets matched to the right people. So treat your profile like a landing page. Meaningful engagement compounds. The system tracks your engagement history. Every post you comment on, every piece of content you spend time with, that feeds into your member embedding. This means strategic commenting isn't just about visibility anymore. It's about training the algorithm to understand what you are about. When you leave a thoughtful comment on content in your niche, you are telling the system, this is my professional interest area. And over time, your content gets shown to people with similar interests. Dwell time is the new engagement metric. The system doesn't just track whether someone liked your post. It tracks whether they actually read it, how long they spent on it, whether they came back to it. And this is why genuinely valuable content wins. You can't fake dwell time. Either your content is interesting enough that people stop scrolling and read it, or it isn't. Newsletters and long-form content get weighted. The paper mentions that the system processes different content types. LinkedIn newsletters create a recurring engagement pattern that can strengthen your member embedding over time. So I would recommend looking into LinkedIn newsletters if you want a more compounding opportunity. Here's what I want you to remember from this video. 6 months ago, everyone was panicking about reach drops, including myself. I literally have an agency that does this. So I asked my audience what they thought was happening and got 86 different theories. The theories weren't wrong exactly. Content supply is exploding. LinkedIn probably is optimizing for ad revenue, and the platform is maturing. But underneath all of that, there was a fundamental shift that nobody outside LinkedIn understood. They rebuilt the entire system from the ground up using AI that actually understands what content means and who it's relevant for, and that changes everything. The people who are going to win on LinkedIn now aren't the ones with the biggest audiences or the best engagement pods or the most optimized posting schedule. It's the people who understand their audience deeply enough to create content that genuinely resonates. The people who have real expertise and can communicate it clearly. The people who treat LinkedIn like a long-term trust-building platform instead of a viral content lottery. And that's always been the right approach. But now the algorithm is sophisticated enough to actually reward it. Thank you, AI. But the question is, are you going to adapt, or are you going to keep following a playbook that doesn't work anymore? If this was useful, I'm breaking down LinkedIn strategy, content systems, and what's actually working for B2B companies in content right now. One more thing. If you have budget and you want to accelerate this, LinkedIn ads targeting people who've engaged with your content or visited your profile is incredibly efficient. You're not cold advertising, you're staying top of mind with people who already showed interest. The CPMs are higher than other platforms, but the intent is higher too. It's worth testing once your organic system is actually working. And if you want us to build this for you, if you're a founder or executive who wants to become the recognizable voice in your industry, but don't have time to figure this out yourself, that's exactly what we do at Distinctiva. We extract your expertise, we build your content machine and system, and we turn LinkedIn into a content engine for your business. Links in the description, or you can DM me on LinkedIn as Deandra Escobar. Yes, I will see you in the next one.